Today we're talking about Greenfield. What makes it such a great place to live? Well, I might be a little biased. I grew up in Greenfield as a kid. I moved away for 23 years, and I chose to come back and live in Greenfield again. And even though there have been times where I wanted to move away, I just can't. Based on the proximity to the city and the ease of getting everywhere around town, it just makes it so hard to leave. So Greenfield. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Greenfield. One, where's it located? It's actually a city neighborhood located about 3 miles southeast of downtown. So you get on the 376, you'd head east towards the Squirrel Hill Tunnels. You'd get off before the Squirrel Hill Tunnels on Greenfield exit. Make sure you make the sharp bend around to go to Greenfield, because if you go straight, you head down to Homestead to the waterfront. People make that mistake all the time. It's not really a big deal because you can also go to Greenfield that way as well. Greenfield is surrounded by quite a few busy neighborhoods. One is Oakland, where the University of Pittsburgh is located. Another one is Squirrel Hill, which is super busy. You can do almost any kind of shopping there that you would like. You also have Homestead, the aforementioned Homestead. You have a waterfront, which is like a town district. Lots of shops, movie theaters, restaurants. There's Target, Giant Eagle, all kind of things down in Homestead. And you have another neighborhood called Hazelwood. So these are the neighborhoods surrounding Greenfield. Greenfield itself is kind of a small, quiet little town. It doesn't have its own zip code. You're either going to share a zip code with Hazelwood, 15207, or Squirrel Hill, 15217. It has a main road, Greenfield Avenue, and it has a Giant Eagle, has a couple Russian grocery stores, European grocery stores. There's 2 nail salons in Greenfield. There's a really good Mexican restaurant. There is the infamous Big Jim's in the Run, which is Lower Greenfield. So it has its charm. It has a couple of bars, couple cool little bars. Jacob's, which used to be this dump called the Coop, which now it's like this hipster place. And Huff's, which used to be a place called Pickles, which that was the place where, there were fights every night. Now it's Huff's. It's kind of a low-key bar that you can walk down, have a drink on a Friday night, and walk home. If you're a student, there's a lot of graduate students that will choose to live in Greenfield because you can take a bus, or you can even walk to Pitt or CMU, which makes it awesome. When I grew up there, I actually used to walk to Pitt. It's a couple miles. It's a beautiful walk. You walk across the Panther Hollow Bridge, and you're right there in Oakland if you're going to Pitt. Also, you are going to have, let's see here. Now the houses. So, you want to buy a house. What type of architecture are you looking for? What type of architecture is there in Greenfield? So Greenfield has a lot of, it's funny, it wasn't all built at once. One street you could have a house that's over 100 years old. The next street over you could have a house that's 60 years old. So most of Greenfield was built, I'd say, late 1800s up through 1960s. You're not going to really find too many homes built after the 1960s in Pittsburgh, period, but especially in Greenfield. And you're going to see in Greenfield the new parts of Greenfield, the parts that were built in the 60s, and then the old parts of Greenfield that were built in the early 1900s. And it seems like there really weren't too many homes built in between those times. So you have a lot of homes built in 1900, 1920. They kind of took a break. And then the baby boomers, you had a lot of homes built in the 60s there. In the 60s, they were building the mid-century modern, the ranch-style homes, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, finished basements. with the houses that were built in the early 1900s, they're larger usually. 2-3 stories, maybe a finished attic. You're going to have usually only one bathroom. Most of the homes only had one bathroom. You might have the Pittsburgh potty in the older homes. Sometimes even in the 1960s. But the 1960s, you have a lot more finished bathrooms and finished basements in those homes. And also in the homes built in the 1960s, you're probably going to have an attached garage. And the homes that were built in the early 1900s probably aren't going to come with a garage. If they have a garage, it may be a detached garage, like in the back alley or off to the side. So this is Greenfield in a nutshell. If you have any questions about it or any other city neighborhood, feel free to ask. Tina Anderson, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.